Pro-Israel Buttigieg backer Seth Klarman is top funder of groups behind Iowa's disastrous voting app. Behind the app that delayed Iowa's voting results is a dark money operation funded by anti-Sanders billionaires. Its top donor, Seth Klarman, is a Buttigieg backer who has dumped money into pro-settler Israel lobby groups. And this is by Max Blumenthal from the Grey Zone. At the time of publication, 12 hours after voting in the Democratic Party's Iowa caucuses ended, the results have not been announced. The delay in reporting is the result of a failed app developed by a company appropriately named Shadow Inc. Yeah, isn't that amazing? You wouldn't think they'd come up with a name like that. The firm was staffed by Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama campaign veterans and created by a Democratic dark money nonprofit backed by hedge fund billionaires, including Seth Klarman, prolific funder of pro-settler Israel lobby organizations. Klarman has also contributed directly to Pete Buttigieg's campaign. The delay in the vote reporting denied a victory speech to Senator Bernie Sanders, the presumptive winner of the opening contest in the Democratic presidential primary. Though not one exit poll indicated that Buttigieg would have won, the South Bend, Indiana mayor took to Twitter to confidently proclaim himself the victor. The bizarre scenario was made possible by a mysterious voting app whose origins have been kept secret by Democratic National Committee officials, and there's a link there. For hours it was unclear who created the failed technology or how it wound up in the hands of Iowa party officials. Though a dark money Democratic operation turned out to be the source of the disastrous app, suspicion initially centered on former Hillary Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook and his Russiagate-related elections integrity initiative. While Iowa Democratic Party Chairman Troy Price refused to say who was behind the failed app, he told NPR that he, quote, worked with the National Party's cybersecurity team and Harvard University's Defending Digital Democracy project, end quote. Price did not offer details on his collaboration with the Harvard group, however. The New York Times reported that his same outfit had teamed up with Iowa Democrats to run a, quote, drill of the worst-case scenarios, end quote, and possible foreign threats, but was also vague on details. Robbie Mook, the former campaign manager for Hillary Clinton's failed 2016 presidential campaign, was the co-founder of Defending Digital Democracy. His initiative rose out of the national freakout over Russian meddling that he and his former boss helped stir when they blamed their loss on Russian interference. Mook's new outfit pledged to, quote, protect from hackers and propaganda attacks, end quote. He founded the organization with help from Matt Rhodes, a former campaign manager for Republican Mitt Romney, whose public relations company was sued by a Silicon Valley investor after it branded him, quote, an agent of the Russian government, end quote, and, quote, a friend of Russian President Vladimir Putin, end quote. Rhodes' firm had been contracted by a business rival to destroy the investor's reputation. And as outrage grew over the delay in Iowa caucus results, Mook publicly denied any role in designing the notorious app. In November, Iowa's Democrat and Republican parties teamed up with the Defending Digital Democracy project at Harvard to run a drill of worst-case scenarios. The event, led by Robbie Mook, the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and Eric Rosenbach, a former chief of staff at the Pentagon, featured a fire drill of sorts designed by future Defense Department officers. Quote, we ran them through the ringer and pushed them really hard, Mr. Mook said. Some were much better at managing technical issues, and some were better managing information operations and disinformation. Hours later, Journalist Li Feng reported that a previously unknown tech outfit called Shadow Inc. had contracted with the Iowa Democratic Party to create the fell technology. The firm was comprised of former staffers for Obama, Clinton, and the tech industry, and had been paid for services by the Buttigieg campaign. Shadow Inc. was launched by major Democratic dark money nonprofit called Acronym, which also gave birth to a $7.7 million super PAC known as Pacronym. According to Sludge, Pacronym's largest donor is Seth Klarman, a billionaire hedge funder. Klarman also happens to be a top donor to Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar. Though he has attracted some attention for his role in the campaign, Klarman's prolific funding of the pro-settler Israel lobby and Islamophobic initiatives has gone almost entirely unmentioned. Seth Klarman is the founder of the Boston-based Baupost Group hedge fund and a longtime donor to corporate Republican candidates. After Donald Trump called for forgiving Puerto Rico's debt, Klarman, the owner of $911 million of the island's bonds, flipped and began funding Trump's opponents. The billionaire's crusade against Trump ultimately led him to Mayor Pete's wine cave. By the end of 2019, Klarman had donated $5,600 to Buttigieg and pumped money into the campaigns of Amy Klobuchar, Cory Booker, and Kamala Harris as well. The billionaire's support centrist candidates appears to be not only by his own financial interests, but by his deep and abiding ideological commitment to Israel and its expansionist project. As I reported for Mondoweiss, Klarman has been a top funder for major Israel lobby outfits, including those that support the expansion of illegal settlements and Islamophobic initiatives. Klarman was the principal funder of the Israel Project, the recently disbanded Israeli government-linked propaganda organization that lobbied against the Iran nuclear deal and backed the Israeli settlement enterprise. Klarman has heaped hundreds of thousands of dollars on the Middle East Media Research Institute and the American Jewish Committee, and he funded the David Project, which was established to suppress Palestine solidarity, organizing on campuses across the U.S., and battled to block the establishment of a Muslim community center near Boston. Through his support for the Friends of Ir David Inc., Klarman directly involved himself in the Israeli settlement enterprise, assisting the US-based tax-exempt arm of the organization that oversaw a wave of Palestinian expulsions in the occupied East Jerusalem neighborhood of Silwan. Other pro-Israel groups reaping the benefits of Klarman's generosity include Birthright Israel, the AIPAC-founded Washington Institute for Near East Policy, and the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, a neoconservative think tank that helped devise Trump's, quote, maximum pressure campaign of economic warfare on Iran. Klarman is the owner of the Times of Israel, an Israeli media outlet that once published a call for Palestinian genocide. The op-ed was ultimately removed following public backlash. In recent weeks, Buttigieg has sought to distinguish himself from Sanders on the issue of Israel-Palestine during a testy exchange this January with a self-proclaimed Jewish supporter of Palestinian human rights. The South Bend mayor backtracked on a previous pledge to withhold military aid to Israel if it annexed parts of the West Bank. Another recipient of Klarman's funding, Amy Klobuchar, has taken a strongly pro-Israel line, vowing to support Trump's relocation of the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Like Klarman, Donald Sussman, a hedge funder who has channeled his fortune into Pacronym, he has given $1 million to the Super PAC and was also top donor to Clinton in 2016. Sussman's Paloma Partners operates through a series of offshore shell companies and received tens of millions of dollars in the 2009 federal bailout of the banking industry. His daughter, Democratic operative Emily Tish Sussman, declared on MSNBC in September that, quote, "If you still support Sanders over Warren, it's kind of a showing of your sexism," end quote. As Democratic elites like Sussman's braced for a Sanders triumph in Iowa, a mysterious piece of technology spun out by a group they supported delayed the vote results, preventing Sanders from delivering a victory speech. And the politician many of them supported, Pete Buttigieg, exploited the moment to declare himself the winner. In such a strange scenario, the conspiracy theories write themselves. And that's by Max Blumenthal, who is an award-winning journalist and the author of several books, including best-selling Republican Gomorrah, Goliath, The 50-Day War, and The Management of Savagery. He has produced print articles for an array of publications, many video reports, and several documentaries, including Killing Gaza. Blumenthal founded The Grey Zone in 2015 to shine a journalistic light on America's state of perpetual war and its dangerous domestic repercussions. You can find them at thegrayzone.com.